Hello there, I am PrettyTAF and welcome to the video. In this video we shall be discussing in great depth and thoroughness everything you need to know about the GRAU 5.56 assault rifle. More specifically, the key information, statistic ratings, recoil patterns and more. So if this sounds like something that you can sink your teeth into, then stick around for the whole video. But before we jump into it, if it is your first time here, do click subscribe to join me for future videos like this and slap a like on the video if you found it useful. So, into the video. The GRAU 5.56 is the 10th unlockable assault rifle in Call of Duty Modern Warfare as part of the Season 2 update. It's unlockable by reaching level 15 in this season's Battle Pass, or if you're watching it after the season has ended, then you can unlock it by completing a challenge, which means if you're a new player to the game, you can unlock it and use it without having to be the max rank. Firstly, to talk about the weapon's aesthetics. For an assault rifle, it does look quite small, almost like a submachine gun. The stock, receiver, handguard and barrel all share like 33% of the weapon's dimensions. It looks to be made of a mixture of black metal, which is probably alloy, and plastic, with the stock, handguard and barrel being plastic and the receiver being metal. It also features a Picatinny rail on top between the foresight and the rear sight for mounting optics. It's clear the GRAU feels like a solid choice for combat for a variety of ranges. Now personally for me, I love using this weapon as a general assault rifle, which is mostly for medium to close range combat during ground war or quick match games. For a weapon that is statistically comparable to the M4A1 standard assault rifle, more on that later, its recoil at longer ranges is strong enough for the muzzle climb to push rounds onto the enemy's upper mass, such as the chest and head, resulting in quick dispatching of enemies with plenty of headshots. In close quarters, its recoil is easy enough to control to allow you to go for headshots with ease and to keep the weapon aimed at the chest accurately. Its time to kill is pretty quick too, typically taking out enemies within 3 to 4 bullets sent to mass, so you never have to worry about enemies being bullet sponges for long. Moving on to the key statistics of the weapon, I will show you how the weapon ranks in comparison to its fellow weapons in class, and of course about its key stats. So first up we're going to talk about damage per round, which of course is the damage per shot. At ranges between 25 to 30 meters, the DPR is as such. For the chest it's 28, 28 for the stomach, 28 on the limbs, and 42 DPR for headshots. This places the 5.56 based on its average center mass damage tied 6th with the Kilo 141, the Ram 7 and the M4A1, bringing it above the lowest DPR weapon in the game, which is the M13 with 24 DPR. In terms of headshot DPR, it ranks the same, joint 6th with the Kilo 141, M4A1 and the Ram 7, once again beating the M13 with a headshot DPS of 36. Chances are this is most likely the damage model for the 5.56, as all of their receivers take the 5.56 round as standard. The RPM rating, which is of course rounds per minute, is 730 rounds, making it the 6th slowest firing assault rifle in class, beating the FN Scar by 160 RPM and losing to the M4A1 by 70 RPM. The ADS speed is 0.190 seconds, making it the second fastest ADS time in class, being beaten by the Ram 7 by 0.007 milliseconds. The standard magazine capacity is 30 rounds with a maximum of 60 rounds with the 60 round extended magazine attachment. Its TTK or time to kill is 0.247 seconds for the chest and 0.164 seconds for headshots, making it actually the slowest TTK assault rifle in class, which is quite surprising considering how well I perform with the gun and how fond I am of it. So as for the actual statistic ratings themselves, I've devised a way in which to tell and assume that if the stats are out of 100 you can find out exactly what the rating is for the 6 main attributes for the weapon. So for example, the GRAU 5.56 has an accuracy of 70, a damage rating of 72, a range rating of 66, the fire rate rating of 65, mobility rating of 65, and a control rating of 71. Given that, as previously mentioned, this weapon has been tied quite closely to the M4A1, the Ram 7 and the Kilo 141, I'll show you the M4 stats just for a side-by-side comparison. So the M4A1 has an accuracy of 71, damage of 72, range of 63, fire rate of 68, mobility of 63 and control 72. So you can just see side by side just how similar these weapons are just based on the statistic ratings themselves. Now the recoil pattern is the path the weapon's recoil takes without any resistance input from the player. Speaking of which, its recoil pattern is very consistent and predictable. Of the tests I conducted on the weapon, which consisted of emptying magazines without any attempt at recoil control, in all of the tests, standing, crouched and prone, all of them followed the similar recoil pattern. So what I thought I'd go ahead and do is show you the recordings of the crouching, standing and prone recoil tests, just to show you in real time. I'm not trying to manipulate this weapon to make it look better than it actually is. This is just how it happened. So now that you've seen all the recoil tests, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the results. So at first the weapon climbs slightly, then veers off to the left. Then after around 10 to 15 rounds it strays back into the centre for a brief moment, of which then it spirals off slightly to the top right without straying too far from the centre line of firing. Every time I test it, they all follow this pattern. So knowing this information, I believe you will be able to counter its recoil by knowing where your weapon is going to try and go during automatic fire. Now the only issue I found with this weapon is the rate of fire. It's easily beaten by half the assault rifles in the game, and every time I come up against an M401 head to head, the GRAU has almost always lost. Every time, and in close quarters like shipment, rushed and objective interiors, submachine guns always seem to have the upper hand. So if you really want to make the best out of this weapon, play to its strengths, play to its accuracy and its range. Don't get too close to the enemy and maintain a sort of distance, because the weapon's range and its accuracy will lead you to victory in combat. So given the M4A1 I mentioned earlier has very similar stats, I thought I'd save that part for a direct comparison video between the two weapons, which will most likely be the next video after this one. So after that, in conclusion, I do find the GRAU 5.56 to be a fine example of an assault rifle and a solid choice of weapon for most maps and game modes. The damage is there, but it's the delivery of the damage because of the rate of fire which lets the weapon down. But for a free weapon during Season 2, I can't complain. I think it's a good addition to the game and it does feel quite balanced. It's well balanced, actually. It's a good mid-tier assault rifle which both advanced and starter players can easily use and have fun with, so there's no complaints on my end, Infinity Ward. And that, to be fair, brings us to the end of the video. If you're still here and you stuck around for the entire thing, I do thank you very much. Do let me know what you thought of the video and if I missed anything out or if I could improve it in any way. Do like and subscribe, it helps massively. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.